What's up, everybody? This is me, Vincent Zeng, the Wandering Warrior. Welcome to part 2 of Decoding Gong拳, where we dive into the techniques. But first, let's review the form.
霸王举鼎，信手投井，乌龙探海，信手投井，乌龙探海，信手投井，双护腰拳，功力端四平，夹肘双撞，带马，功力端四平，夹肘双撞，贴身靠，锁脖通天，撞腿，缠丝腿，冲锤，上托手，带马，拜式摘节，冲锤，上托手。带马，三环吐跃，上托手，带马，三环吐跃，带马，三环吐跃，带马，三环吐跃，上托手，带马，端四平，夹肘双撞，带马四平双撞，带马四平双撞，上托手，带马。坐盘几锤，锁脖盖钉，上托手，带马，拜式摘茄，左提上击掌，穿掌单边式，下式田步窝掌，穿掌单边式，剑形，收式。Okay, let's do it again. 霸王举鼎，信手投井，乌龙探海，信手投井，乌龙探海，信手投井，双护腰拳，功力端四平。夹肘双撞，带马四平双撞，贴身靠，锁脖通天，撞腿，缠丝腿，冲锤，上托手，带马，拜式摘茄，冲锤，上托手，带马三环吐跃，上托手，带马三环吐跃3次。上托手，带马四平双撞3次。上托手，带马坐盘几锤，锁脖盖钉，上托手，带马拜式摘茄，左提上击掌，穿掌单边式，下式田步窝掌，穿掌单边式。剑形，收式。
This is the 2 or 3 minute mark where a lot of people click away. Don't be that guy. Keep watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Consider supporting me on Patreon. And if you guys want to really upgrade your Kung Fu, especially when it comes to Northern Chinese martial arts, my Tan Toi 12路 12 Roads of Tan Toi online course waitlist is down below. Hit the link and get ready to upgrade. Back to Gong Li Quan.
Okay, at the end of the opening hands, we have this throw, and then afterwards, this knee lifting and hands going down, both hands. And some people say that this is a kick defense, but it's a little bit awkward. One thing we both noticed is that it comes right after a grappling sequence. So what if I was already holding on to the person? In this case, pulling him and attacking him with the knee does make sense. However, there is an issue with this, which is that in the form, you pull to the side, not to the waist. Upon closer inspection, this actually makes a lot of sense because if you pull directly in, they can also knee you or stop you. But if you pull to the side, it unbalances them and opens up the liver or the floating ribs. So I think there's a strategy here of moving them to one side to open up those targets, making it easy to get essentially a TKO. We all know taking a knee to the floating ribs or the stomach or the liver can definitely drop people. So this is a pretty good strategy, and it keeps them off balance. 带马. We repeat that throw, and if it doesn't work, we do this 贴身靠. If we stay faithful to the movements in the 套路, the form, it looks like we guide the person right into a hip toss. And honestly, this is pretty slick. We take the momentum of them escaping and turn it into a hip toss. Good stuff. 贴身靠. But after that, we do an uppercut looking move called 锁脖通天. I really do not think this is an uppercut. If we follow the hand movement, assuming they got out of the hip toss, we would then be pushing them along further using the momentum of their escape to then uppercut their leg. This is actually another sick takedown, right? Because we use the momentum of their escape into the next move. So if I'm correct, this is actually a throwing combo. 锁脖通天. Next we have 撞腿 and 蚕丝腿. And normally in the Jingwu forms, they're done pretty stiffly. I used to think that this was some kind of sweep, maybe after picking their leg, but upon further reflection, if I did that, it would land them on my leg, especially if I did it the way it's done in the form, instead of throwing them past my leg. Now, what if we don't do it so stiffly? Well, then it just looks like kickboxing or savate. It just looks like counterbalancing while I launch a kick. And so if he escapes my throw, I'm going to chase him down with that kick and then boom, fake out. Right? I make it look like I'm doing another mid-level attack again, and then bam, smash his face. Hopefully get a knockout. Actually kind of a cool combo. After this move, we sink down and do a 冲锤, a rushing punch. Now, it doesn't really make sense as a punch because you'd easily get knocked out. So why am I raising both arms? Well, again, let's follow along. Let's grab, let's follow the movement. And it's another knock over knee style throw. I expand, boom, send him over. So given the circumstances, you do want to rush in and punch out, but you're actually throwing. 上脱手. To me, this is pretty self-explanatory. You do a closing elbow to guard yourself from getting knocked out, and then you do an upwards stripping hand to catch that arm, especially if they have sleeves, and then punch them. Ideally in the liver or stomach or the floating ribs. So there is a consistent theme here to the striking. After that, we have another 带马 and a knee, and then a 拜式摘茄, 冲锤. So following the previous logic, we have a knee and then a low attack of some kind and then a throw. So what's this thing in the middle? Well, following the movement in the 套路, in the form, it leads me to two different conclusions. One, I could be attacking the groin, right? 摘茄, picking the eggplant. It's pretty explicit. I could also be throwing him with that movement that exists in 摔跤. It's called 崩, and when he escapes, I can easily do the follow-up throw. Aaron suggests it makes more sense as the follow-up to the reaction to having a groin attack. If they block it or move back, the throw opportunity is right there. 带马三环吐跃, classic move in Gong Li Quan, and it's done 3 times in succession after the first time it's introduced. After some experimentation, I do believe it's a chop or a rabbit punch of some kind to the back of the head, neck area to knock them down. And if they dodge it and try to grab you, you have your throw right away. Even if they don't grab you, you do have the throw opportunity. So if they avoid, boom, chop. If they avoid that too, throw. This one is very interesting. We are going to 带马, rush in with a 坐盘击锤, turn and end up in a 锁脖盖丁. I used to think that this was a 手合 or some kind of movement where I pick the leg and rush past, but actually, in this situation, for them to do that stealing step, it doesn't make sense for it to be a move rushing past. In fact, it seems like a move you do if they are square to you. In which case, if I follow the movements, it looks like a type of entry for a fireman carry or a 穿裆 in 摔跤. Oh, right. Aaron is way heavier than me. All my wrestling and weightlifting is going to have to come into play. "锁脖盖丁, lock neck, cover the nail. Okay. Next up, we have a different follow-up to the groin attack. We put our hands together, double knees, and throw the hand out. So let's begin with 摘茄. Now, if he blocks it, then I can actually grab his sleeve or his wrist and then throw a knee. Pretty much a free attack. Bang. However, if he escapes, then he could hit me. So what am I going to do about that? I'm going to catch that hand as I do. I'm going to strike, and that also opens up another knee opportunity. An interesting combination that anticipates the opponent escaping and trying to counter. So you have an answer for them trying to get out and strike you with the knee and an attack to the throat with the palm. This is followed by a 穿掌单边式. I used to think this was like a riding knee throw of the gondola in Mongolian wrestling, but I don't think that's the case. After all, you tuck the foot behind your leg, and there are different variations in other forms with the same hand movements but different footwork, such as 弹腿. It shows up there in the Gong Bu, and in 五步拳 it shows up as well, but with a knee raised, and here the foot is tucked behind the leg. It's a classic Kung Fu movement, but it's a weird one. Doesn't seem like striking. You can't really produce much power there. And the hooking behind the leg, what could it be? Some say it's a groin kick from behind, and while that's definitely possible, it doesn't work on all sizes, that's for sure. Let's look at the hands. This shows up in a variety of different Chinese martial arts styles, but I found it really good for breaking up a clinch and locking them out. So if we combine it together plus some Shuaijiao knowledge, as we try this out, it feels like a way to negate someone's clinch and to catch their leg as they try to throw you and pressure them down to the ground. And actually, there's a huge variety of these type of moves in Shuaijiao and Mongolian wrestling. Cool stuff. Then we drop a 下式 into a 田步窝掌. And this looks a lot like single whip in Taiji, 单边. Now if we drop down, that leg is right there, so it's an easy leg pick. I really don't believe the people that say it's a palm strike. Honestly, I think if they escape that leg counter, boom, ankle pick, and they're down. I think this is the most direct answer. And lastly, it seems like another way to deal with them getting out of 穿掌 is the 剑行, arrow hilt. Boom, looks like a punch to me.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to be following this up with part 3, where we dive into decoding Gong Li Quan further by exploring its strategic doctrine. So it's going to be decoding Gong Li Quan part 3, strategy. In any case, thank you for joining me on my journey. I salute yours. Peace.
Alright guys, why don't you go ahead and practice some of these moves with a partner. Again, be safe, make sure you stretch and warm up beforehand, make sure you hold back a little bit, make sure you don't really spike people on their heads. This stuff is meant to hurt people, so please be careful. Practice the form, get used to the movements, and next week we will dive into the strategy behind all this and how all the moves are linked together.